kitty whiskers. They'll
No
be cute.
kitty whiskers.
Come on, don't eat the kitty whiskers and me
Hi,
all
everybody.
last night. It's your
Todd
turn.
and Erin. Morning stream at GetPartDaily.com.
Really? Are you afraid it's going to offend your dignity? Compromise your integrity somehow?
Yeah, well, it won't matter. I gotta tell you, Get Our Daily is a hard news site, so there's a police scanner in the other room, and it's addicting. I was just
you listened
listening
to it today, didn't you?
I was listening
The
to
drama.
these two cops in different cars. They were talking, and one says, "Can you see him?" And he went, "Yeah, the idiot's hiding behind a fire hydrant." And they both laugh. It's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny, actually.
I'm not talking to you, by the way.
Why are you not talking to me?
Because you brought Kentucky Fried Chicken back into the house.
It wasn't my fault. It's what the children wanted. What could I do?
Say no, like a good parent and a wife who doesn't want her husband to explode because he's growing a beach ball for his stomach. Mm-hmm. I can't do this alone. All right. Four stories coming up. The Kennedy papers are out.
I know, that's interesting. Apparently, clear pumpkin pie is a thing. We'll tell you about that.
Ranch is up for sale. On the ranch, aliens tried to abduct his wife.
You know, one little abduction, and all of a sudden, it's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And in our spookiest spots along the Wasatch Front.
Very cool.
We're going to take you to a place today that will basically make you drop your flowers and run screaming if you actually saw this in real life. We'll tell you why.
Once again, a classic for Utah, I think. Don't you think it's a classic?
It's a classic.
It is a classic.
It's a classic.
You might have heard about it before, but
It'll scare the crap out of you, too.
You better get the right pants on. What else is going on?
Let's talk. This is like the weirdest lawsuit I've ever heard of, so I wanted to talk about it. The families of two couples killed in a plane crash in Weber County in July. Pretty scary.
Yeah.
They're still friends, says the attorney representing one of the families who's suing the other family's estate.
So wait a minute. So one family is responsible for the crash?
Well, maybe. The Huffakers were friends with the Clarks before this tragic incident.
Right.
They remain so today. This is according to Eric Olson, who is representing the Huffaker estate in a wrongful death lawsuit against the Clark estate.
Okay.
So the estate of Perry and Sari Huffaker filed the lawsuit in 2nd District Court against the estate of Lane and Diana Clark. Now, both couples were killed July 26th. You remember that this is the Bonanza, the little one.
Yeah.
They were flying. It crashed into the median of I-15 near Riverdale.
Horrible.
They were close friends. They were flying north to go on vacation together. It's really interesting. Not surprisingly, after filing their lawsuit, the estate of the Huffakers received some negative feedback from the public.
Yeah.
Because but I guess this is the deal. They said that, the Clarks obtained insurance for the airplane in case anything like this happened. The amount of insurance is still under investigation. And so they wanted to file a lawsuit to make sure that they got their share
chunk
of
it.
the...
But they're still friends.
Yeah, so the couples are dead, but the extended families are still alive, and I guess are great buddies, even though one's suing the other one.
Well, now wait a minute. I've heard how tragic that is, first of all. But I've heard stories about a neighbor's dog who came into somebody else's yard and bit their kid. Now their kid needed some plastic surgery on his nose to make sure it didn't scar when he got older.
Thanks.
And so the neighbor had to sue the homeowner so the insurance would jump in and pay for it. But they were like barbecue buddies.
Doesn't the insurance automatically pay for something like that, though? Why would you have to sue to make them pay?
Maybe they weren't great buddies.
I'm beginning to wonder about that barbecue business, because that seems to me like you wouldn't be required to do that. We've seen injuries before where the insurance just did it quickly, so that sounds like they wanted extra.
Bush Sr.? This story? Really?
Of all the gropers you would expect to see in the White House, and there's been a few.
What did he say?
Including the current one, who have had many allegations.
Tell me more.
This is Bush Sr. George Bush Sr. apparently referred to himself as David Copperfield.
That is so wrong.
This is following allegations against him by Heather Lind. This is the second woman now who's come forward saying that U.S. President George H.W. Bush told her a dirty joke while groping her.
Ew.
And then told her that his favorite magician was David Copperfield before grabbing her. Everyone in the room laughed.
Uh-oh. Not funny.
And he had an interesting, I guess, when the apologists obviously put up a statement from him,
Right.
which seems odd. But it said at age 93, President Bush has been confined to a wheelchair for roughly 5 years, so his arm falls on the lower waist of people with whom he takes pictures. To try to put people at ease, the president routinely tells the same joke on occasion. He has patted women's rears in what he intended to be a good-natured manner. Excuse me?
Right.
You don't. A stranger patting your butt is
That's
not
just so
good-natured.
weird.
Some have seen it as innocent. Others clearly
No,
view it as
no.
inappropriate.
No.
To anyone he has offended, President Bush apologizes most sincerely.
Okay, but
I,
you don't pat people's fannies.
here's one thing I'm just sort of torn on. He's like 93 years old. So,
Hey, I have a question.
yes,
Yeah.
dear.
So if you're in the media, you get sued and you get banished forever, but if you're the old president, you're
Right.
okay?
It's like, oh, you.
It's all good.
Oh, you, come on. Although I'll be completely honest, at 93 years of age, if he didn't tell me that god-awful stupid joke, I would have just let it go. Because he's 93 years old. Let the man have a pat on the butt.
You know,
However, it is wrong. But it's the joke that makes
violating
it so
your
much worse.
person.
Maybe I'm more offended by the bad joke than the actual groping. But I don't know.
Well, you know, they hunt Nazis down when they're 93 and they put them in prison.
Because they're still awful people.
They are
That's true.
still awful people, and it's still a bad. I don't. How old? That means I can look forward to.
I'm-
I can look forward to something when I'm 93.
Honey, when you're 93, you need something to look forward to.
Like
You
it's
really
gonna
do.
happen.
You better plan on it. You're not leaving me alone with those kids.
Oh my gosh!
You leave me alone with those kids, I will dig your dead body up and I will kick it to death again.
About time they started changing diapers.
No,
Pay
it's,
me back.
I don't know. It's just very. I don't know why this one doesn't offend me as much. And it's
Well-
and the apology is stupid because you don't say he's lightly patted women's rears. You just admit he's
Everyone
groping people.
let it go, but I'm sure it affected a lot of people.
I'm
along
sure
the
if
way.
it makes you uncomfortable and ashamed, then it's
And everybody, of course, just laughed along with it.
that's really strange.
Kind of gets
though.
back. This kind of gets back to the whole core of the issue, isn't it?
Which is
Oh,
it's nothing.
Look how she's dressed. Yeah.
Yeah, she's wearing ovaries. So
I want to tell you.
I guess
I want to tell you about. Do you
Amazon.
Know Amazon, yeah.
I'm very excited by
They're
this.
gonna let themselves into your home to deliver packages
Well,
because
Walmart wanted to.
we were just talking about this yesterday about the this year. You know that the porch thefts of delivered packages is going to go through the roof just because it has been building every year, all year long, and especially if you're a business that gets 5 or 6 packages a day.
Mm-hmm.
People drive by, there it is.
Our UPS driver, Steve, who we love, says that he literally has to call the police at least once a day when he spots cars tailing him.
From behind.
Because he, it upsets the drivers too because it's a violation of everything they do. But
And
yeah.
they get called on it.
So routinely, he says almost daily now he has to call the police.
So basically, the deal is the kit comes with a security camera, a cloud cam, and a smart lock. The kit starts at $249.99.
You have to have some really valuable packages.
Well, here's the deal. The delivery guy doesn't have a key. Now, what happens is he gets to the door. It's got a smart lock on it. He holds up his deal, whatever it is.
Clink.
It notifies Amazon. Amazon looks and says, "Are they really having a delivery today? Are they really having it within the window according to the route that the truck is driving?"
Oh, good point.
And then they unlock the door. Packages put inside. They're timing how long it takes.
Oh, wow.
And then he shuts or she shuts the door. Amazon locks it. That is freaking weird.
Oh no, I actually think that's great. I hated the Walmart one because I'm like, my kitchen's never clean enough to have complete strangers come into my house. I'm sorry, but on this one you can also watch it on your smartphone and see him come in or her, and I'm fine with that.
That's crazy.
But if it was our UPS driver or the FedEx guy we see all the time, I'm like, go into the kitchen, grab something out of the fridge. I'm fine with that.
What about the dog? What about dogs?
That's one thing they'd have to
Dog
address.
gets out, suddenly Scruffy's gone.
Scruffy's stupid enough to go racing past the driver and go out into the front yard. It's his own fault. Scruffy should be restrained.
Walmart's deal.
I don't think it's a bad idea.
Walmart's deal was they gave the delivery guy or woman, one-time pass code to get into the home. What could go wrong?
No, the Walmart one I'm against because I get to go into my house and see what a pig I am. Just into the front foyer. I can keep that clean enough so I don't look as slovenly a housekeeper as I actually am.
Listen,
could do that.
are you really worried about how weird your house looks? We're talking about Walmart. You've been there, right? You've been and seen the crazy people at Walmart.
That doesn't mean it's the people who work there.
Or what if you're home and you're sleeping on the couch naked, and next thing you know, you look up and
Then maybe you shouldn't be using home delivery. And
Walmart,
when's the last
woman,
time?
man.
When's the last time you slept on the couch naked? Never.
It could happen. Could happen. There might be a moment of naked on the couch, sleeping.
Wow, you're really
Does
desperate.
that come with a greeter?
Get out of here. Shut the door. All right, welcome to Walmart. Can I check your receipt?
Explain the JFK conspiracy because they released the
Which
papers.
one?
Well, President Trump released the papers yesterday, but
No.
he actually withheld several, stating that they would compromise national
Well,
security.
no, he didn't come up with that. The CIA and the FBI did. And, of
That
course,
seems-
the Warren Report. And this happened in 1963. He was assassinated in Dallas.
That was 54 years ago, and they really think that it would compromise national security.
Well, you don't
now?
know what's in there. You know, I don't really care. I mean, obviously, I'm from Massachusetts. They're from Kennedy's, a major family from Massachusetts. So it was a big deal back east. I mean, it was like
What was a big deal anywhere? It
we
was
were
horrifying.
heartbroken. I mean, it was like they were the leaders, you know, and I just remember. Plus, it was the '60s. And the '60s, it was a whole nother world, and yeah, it was just so tragic. So the papers are out. They're saying there's not that much stuff in there talking about Oswald. Did he act alone? The grassy
And they blacked
knoll,
out most of it too.
and all that stuff. But the papers are out, and you can actually go get them in the National Archives and Records. You can look that up, check it out. But
There
there's
really
just-
wasn't any big shocks or surprises. It was pretty much what they thought. The only question
Pretty much.
was Oswald. And it really seemed like everybody acted alone, right?
Who knows? The conspiracy theories, like on every event, like on Vegas, like on all these things, they're just like, get another hobby. The wind was coming from the other direction. There were chemtrails overhead, crossing in our necks, marking the spot. It's like, really? Go visit your mom. Just go. What was I going to talk about?
I'm not sure, but you're worrying me.
Trick or treating.
Oh, did you know? No, I've always questioned this because I've always felt like this was just sort of like a long-held thought that you could do it as long as you wanted. Because, like I said, I trick-or-treated all through high school.
Trick or treating, right?
Yeah. So, I didn't really realize there was a hard and fast rule, but apparently there.
Apex, North Carolina.
Tell me.
Don't you go out there after 9 o'clock. That's my
I
southern
think we go
accent.
to. I think it was a horrible one, by the
I
way.
know, thank you.
I was from Virginia. North Carolina didn't sound anything like that.
North Carolina. They actually have a.
That's not even Appalachian.
They have a rule on the books, a law about trick or treating that you cannot be older than 12.
Are they going to ask for ID?
I think they're
Really,
gonna-
you can ID me at the door? That's what you're gonna do?
TSA will be there, setting up a fake house, waiting for that ding dong.
Yeah,
and then
catches some teenagers.
boom. Next thing you know, you're in Mexico. So 12 or older is illegal, and it's on the books. I might add to that a local official, he says, I think that if it's a law, it should be enforced.
Really? Because we still have laws on the books that you cannot play a banjo while walking on Main Street.
On Sundays.
So, lighten up.
Blue
brother.
laws.
Lighten
They're
up.
called blue laws.
Yeah, really, that's your biggest problem? Then you guys are doing much better than we are. I think our standard has usually been about 10 o'clock. We figure anyone after 10 who's knocking on your door probably wants to home invade you versus have
And
a Snickers bar. So that's kind of when we drop it, right?
And basically just, turn off the porch light and kind of hide. And then the kids eventually go away. It says they think they need to update the law, and it needs to be modernized with the times. What has changed since 1973 and now? Kids,
When did it
candy, ring a bell, get the candy.
And when did it become such an issue in 1973 that you had to actually pass a law for it? Oh,
And who
don't
voted
you be
for
13.
it? And who voted?
Don't be 13. It's not going to happen.
Somebody voted for it.
Well, I just remember last year, though, we had a group of young men and young ladies who were from a group home.
Yeah.
I think they were in their early to late 20s.
Sure.
They were dressed up and they were excited and had their pillowcase for the candy and they were all happy to
I'm
be there.
in.
And we're like,
I'm in.
take some. I'm throwing extras in because
Right.
I love them. They were all so sweet and they were
Right.
huge smiles, said thank you. And what I'm going to tell them, I'm sorry, there's a lie. You can't do this.
Well, you think I'm mean because when I would set up the yard and put the gravestones out and the smoke machine and stuff, and here comes a kid or kids down the street, and they start walking up the driveway, and I'm like, don't even think about it, mister. Ziz. Get out of here. It was still light outside. Unless you can see a shadow,
No, I
a
don't think that's
really
fair.
long shadow. Stay off my lawn.
No. So a lot of those were little tiny kids.
I don't care.
When the kids were toddlers, I didn't take them out after dark. I took them when it was still light.
Not true. I remember, and I have pictures.
You never took them trick-or-treating. You always stayed home to taunt the other kids.
I know, I loved it. I loved the door. One year, it was
He used,
great.
he used to use tongs and he would pass the candy out through the letter opener. He thought it was hysterical.
Just like, yeah. And the kids would be scared, and then you could hear them yelling to their parents, there's a guy with a claw thing. My thing, anyway. Oh, by the way, Erin has got this classic thing coming up that I'm really excited to see the video. Something to do with 666 at the end of the show. Speaking of creepy. Why the face?
Just all of the memories of how weird you are at Halloween are suddenly surfacing, and I'm feeling sorry for our trick-or-treaters this year again. I think there were a few times I had to just open the door and go, I'm really sorry. Todd loves this time of year and he's a little weird.
Do you think it's bad to use a fire extinguisher on a little Spider-Man? I don't think so. Let's get some information.
Daisy's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. And she's brought to you by Utah Credit Approval. Bad things happen to good people, but that doesn't mean you can't repair your credit and get a good automobile. 801-921-9819 for Utah Credit Approval. Also by Columbus Travel. Now, Columbus Vacations is their website, and if you go there and sign up for a newsletter, you will get some epic deals on airfare, hotel combinations, maybe an all-inclusive vacation. The average person saves $241 by going through Columbus Travel for their vacation. Now, also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where our friend John is there ready and waiting with his huge fleet of people to come in and inspect your furnace, get you all ready for winter, maybe turn off all the summer stuff, and you can do that at allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Hello, everyone. Here's what's making headlines Friday, October 27th on GephartDaily.com. A 32-year-old Leighton man is fighting for his life after being gunned down outside his apartment complex Thursday afternoon. Police say the victim, whose name was not released, was shot several times in the chest near 1650 North Avalon Drive just before 1 p.m. The suspect, identified as 31-year-old Eddie Angelo Zamora, was spotted later in the day on I-15. He managed to give police the slip, however, and ditched his SUV near 900 West, 300 North in Salt Lake City. Police are asking for the public's help finding Zamora. They say if you know his whereabouts, call 911. The Murray Police Department has released a blurry surveillance photo of a murder suspect who shot and killed a man inside a car at Czech City near 4500 South State Street Wednesday. The shooter ran from the parking lot while the victim's car lurched into rush hour traffic, causing a 5-vehicle crash. The suspect is described as a male in his early 20s, 5'3" tall. He was last seen wearing a dark hoodie with a pullover hat and khaki pants. The victim's name has yet to be released. And the West Valley City Police Department wants to set the record straight after a local news organization said a break in the Susan Powell disappearance case might be close. Fox 13 reported police are working to decode an encrypted computer owned by Powell's dead husband Josh, who has long been considered a person of interest in the case. West Valley PD says while the case remains open, there have been no new leads and it's uncertain if the computer files can ever be accessed. And now time for a look at your weekend weather along the Wasatch Front, brought to you today by our brand new sponsor at Brio Technologies, Utah's top audio-visual experts. Temperatures the next few days will be quite mild in the upper to mid 60s, with nighttime lows in the upper 30s to mid 40s. Chance of rain is just about zilch, which means it should be a great weekend to get out and about. That's all for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GetPartDaily.com.
At All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, we have the best service and the best warranties. Check us out at allutahplumbing.com.
Tell me something good. Good. Tell me something good.
I will tell you something good because this is pretty cool. Kylie Scott had gone to the dental practice, Dr. Wilstead's dental practice. She had to get a wisdom tooth extraction.
Ow.
She's someone who's on an extremely tight budget, and we all know that dental insurance covers like,
None.
whatever. So he was going through and he was examining her teeth, and he said, "What happened here in front?" And she had all her 4 front teeth were chipped and they were really damaged and yellow. And
What happened?
And apparently what had happened is her abusive ex-boyfriend had headbutted her during the relationship 2 years ago and had damaged her face. And she said, I'm going to get it fixed, when I get a better job, but I've been in school and I've been trying to pay back debts. And
Horrible.
And he said, "Oh, we're going to fix that right now while I'm here."
You're
and
right.
she goes, "No, I can't afford that." She goes, "Oh, hell no." And he said, which I adore that he actually said that to a reporter too, but so he went ahead and he fixed her teeth and he
Right.
rebonded them and fixed her smile and got everything straightened out, did the wisdom tooth extraction.
Right.
But the picture you saw, can you show it one more time? Because she wasn't expecting it. And you can just see she's
Oh, yeah.
just crying her eyes out. And just the fact, though, that he did that for her, and she said, "I didn't realize what this would do." She said, it changed everything about how I looked at myself. She said,
Right.
because every time I had seen my teeth,
Right.
I remembered that.
Yes.
And all those feelings of shame and frustration that I didn't get out sooner. And it's like, I hate it when the victims blame themselves. But all those things came back to me. She says, now I see myself, and it's like,
Right.
I'm the person I wanted to be.
Like a stronger body image.
Yeah,
kind of
isn't
thing?
that
Yeah.
beautiful?
That
And
is very
I love
cool.
the way she said that I'm the person I wanted to be. It
Nice.
reminds me of our Dr. Smith, our dentist, who was a beautiful man. And there was one Christmas when...
He still is, by the way.
Oh,
He's
no,
just
yeah,
retired.
Yeah, he's just retired. But there was one Christmas, for some reason, I don't remember why we were talking to her, but it was a mom who was taking her sister's old antibiotics because she had a terrible tooth infection. I'm like,
yeah.
"You can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that."
Right.
And I called and said, "Would you mind just checking her and seeing if you could just fix the infection?" And she came in and he fixed her entire mouth.
Yeah.
He asked her to come back 3 more times. He went out in the middle of the snowstorm to say hello and meet her.
There's
husband.
so many gushy hearts out there to help.
But it was just those kind of things, because you're right. Your smile is such a big deal because
Yeah.
it's so indicative of who you are. It's what.
What's the first thing?
And
What's the
when-
first thing?
And when you see that every single time you open your mouth and you see this is what was done to me, and all those memories come back.
Just triggers like post-traumatic stuff.
So I'm so proud of her that she doesn't have to think about that anymore. And I loved Dr. Wilstead because that was such a gorgeous thing.
Good job, Doc.
Thank you for telling us something good, Doctor.
I got to tell you something else good. It's Friday. And we have a winner for the Christopher Dinner giveaway.
Jolene B. Jolene Bradley. Hi, Jolene.
Ba-da-ba.
Congratulations, my darling. You are our winner. I will be getting in contact with you today, so you can 3 friends can go have dinner. If you would like to enter for next week, it's very easy. All you have to do is just drop a comment on today's show. It can be anything. Hi,
Something
hello.
nice.
Give me some meat.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween, something. I don't care.
Okay.
And then you're automatically wintered, and we draw a winner next Friday.
Hey, coming up, by the way, double amputee running through Utah.
Coolest guy ever.
Next.
The Todd and Erin morning stream is brought to you by Utah Credit Approval. Bad things happen to good people, but repair your credit and find the car you want at Utah Credit Approval. Just call 801-404-7201. Also by Columbus Travel. Sign up for their weekly newsletter today for some screamingly good last-minute travel deals. You can do that at columbusvacations.com. And also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. This is the perfect time to check out your heating system and make sure that you're ready for the cold winter months ahead. Go to allutahplumbing.com. And don't forget 24-hour service.
So Jeff, you do mortgages, right?
I do.
How do you do?
Well, you go to our website, 4minutemortgage.com, fill out the application. We'll call you within 1 business day. The whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
We went to the bank
They got really personal.
and went through all of our personal records and all of our finances.
And then there was that little deal about the $8,000 closing costs.
Took like 4 months.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, there's another person trying to make us all look bad. It just keeps happening. And now we have someone who's running through Utah.
I'm just in love with this guy. His name is Rob Jones. He's a Marine from Virginia. Now, back in 2010, he lost both of his legs. He stepped on an IED in Afghanistan. As you can imagine, for someone who's incredibly athletic, and especially for Marines, because they're like psycho anyway, and they're always doing the dangerous
stuff,
They're the
right.
dangerous, crazy guys. I mean, when I lived in Virginia, they were always, if someone said he's a Marine, you're like, oh, okay. Or she. But so most men, this might really derail them.
I remember too.
Rob got right back into it, and he uses those incredible blades, the new prosthetic
They
blades
used
that they use.
that one guy used in the Olympics.
Yeah, let's not talk about him. But so he decided to compete in the London Paralympics. He brought home a bronze medal, excuse me. A couple years after that, he decided to cycle from Maine to Southern California to raise money for his fellow veterans. And this
Making
year
everyone look bad.
he's going, wow, what can I do that was even more intense than that? Because he really wants to raise money again.
Walking across Utah?
No, he's running. He's running across Utah. It's a month of marathons, and basically he's running 31 marathons in 31 days in 31 different cities. And this is Rob, just the most epic guy ever.
So cool looking.
And so far, between all of his efforts between 2012 and 2017, he's raised over $1.3 million in funds for veterans. How incredible is this man?
That's crazy good.
And the thing is this, I'm sorry, but if you're going to contribute, I would be like, I will totally, here's my wallet, take my money.
Exactly.
You're going to say no to him?
Right.
How cool is he?
And the other upside to this is you could make yourself as tall as you wanted.
That is true. I would really like to be 6'10".
Okay.
But anyway, he ran through
6'10".
Salt Lake yesterday, and huge cheers, huge applause.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's beautiful.
What's his name again?
It's Rob Jones.
Rob Jones. You can find him. I'm sure he has Facebook.
Actually, you can go to robjonesjourney.com if you'd like to contribute. Isn't that beautiful?
I'm rather concerned about this next story that you have.
Okay.
Because I, for one, love Thanksgiving. And you're going to tell me something about pumpkin pie, which is a wonderful thing.
In New York City every year, they have a gigantic foodie gathering. It's not necessarily a convention, but it's where all the big chefs kind of get together, and they all try out new things, and they kind of go, what do you think of this? Do you like this? And
Right.
it's like a chance to show
Trying
off
to
a little bit.
impress each other.
Yeah, Anthony Bourdain's done that before. He's covered it a couple of times where they just basically try new things out on each other. And then it gets massive media coverage because we're all hungry, and then we get to sit there and go, are you going to be introducing that anywhere I can get it? Because that looks amazing.
What is it?
I'm not so sure about this year.
What is it?
It's pumpkin pie,
Yes, I love pumpkin pie.
and it's clear.
No, it's not.
Yeah, if you take a look at that little wedge, you will see that the dollop of
It's
whipped cream is on
floating.
top of the clear
It's floating.
pumpkin pie.
It's floating.
And a couple of the foodies that tasted it said, it says if you can get past the look, it does once again taste like pumpkin pie. They said obviously the texture is a little different, but they said most people just have difficulty with the clearness.
Oh, and now I see. Now it makes
see
sense. Go back to the picture. If you look at the bottom point, if you've missed it, the bottom point,
You can see the crust underneath.
and then the gel goes up.
Yeah, and then
Now,
you can
it
see
took
the
me a
little
while.
dollop of whipped cream.
Took me a while to see it. Well, you know what's weird is it does taste like pumpkin, right? Well, with tomatoes, if you take tomatoes and crush them up and put them in a sieve, the juice that comes out is clear. And people can use it for like Bloody Marys and the same effect. You're like, what?
I did not know that.
But it tastes like incredibly tomatoey.
I did not know that was possible.
I am full of lots of stuff, and that's just some of it.
I'm not sure about the clear pumpkin pie.
That'd be worth trying.
Yeah, but sometimes the visual is so. Oh well.
I gotta think about this. I can't remember when the last time I went to a library, and I know it's really important in the community because people can go and they can get information. They can go online.
The library is the central gathering place of like the city. At least that's what it's supposed to be.
Right, and things have changed a little bit. Maybe some people are on edge.
Well, I mean, but it goes way beyond books, and obviously you can even go online now and rent online books from the thing. But it's the it's the place where you can do festivals. It's where people can put on productions. It's a place where people can. I mean, kids can do like dorky little music recitals. It's the place where everybody gets together.
It was a major part of your growing up.
Well, yeah, and I tried to introduce it to our kids too, and to and Zoe and I still go to the library because it's a big deal. It's like an ownership thing of going and checking things out and then being responsible for returning them. Although I stopped with the DVDs because that was way too expensive and late fees. Yeah. But it's an important place.
Back then, we had a warning, and all our friends knew it. Do not lend us a DVD because my kids will skate across the room on top of it.
No joke. McLean actually did skate across the wood floor on 2 of the DVDs.
So the story about the librarian.
The angriest librarian. I'm sorry. I think this is hysterical.
So what triggered
librarians,
this?
Librarians, you always picture as like they're sweet and they're nice and they're laid back and they're like, hey,
the hair's in a bun.
What's
they're
going
wearing
on?
Glasses.
They're all well.
Then take them off and then
that's
shake out your hair. Woo! Sorry.
We're not here to discuss your filthy fantasies, Todd.
Okay.
In any case, the online argument started when New York Observer columnist Andre Walker and Kitten, you're writing for a newspaper and you're worried about no longer being meaningful? Yeah, you should start thinking about that. Suggested on Twitter that public libraries should be closed and their books donated to schools because nobody goes to them anymore. Nobody goes to libraries anymore. Close the public ones. The angriest librarian, that's her Twitter thing, became furious. She goes, hang tight, folks, because I'm about to drop some necessary knowledge on you. First of all, library usage is on the rise. Blank, blank. As conservatives have taken over state and local governments, no more taxes, crowd has gotten their way. Public space has decreased. MFers, again.
What?
That means there's a lot fewer free public gathering places in America. What's one? The MF Public Library. That means...
Oh my God.
If you are like this jackalope and you think libraries are just warehouses for books, you are sorely and embarrassingly mistaken. Sorely. In addition to meeting a community's needs for educational, recreational materials, particularly for young families, public libraries are evolving to meet the demands of the 21st century, unlike the Neanderthal who sparked this thread. Not surprisingly, the angriest librarian is actually right. 76% of Americans believe, according to a Pew Research study, that the libraries meet the needs of their communities. And although there has been a decline in local library usage, it isn't because people don't need libraries, but because the library's budgets have been cut, meaning that they are open shorter hours and fewer days.
Right.
But I'm just in love with I'm in love with the angriest librarian.
Don't screw with her.
I'm about to drop some knowledge.
I'll shove that up your Dewey Decimal.
I love her so much. I'm sorry. But anyway, it was an awesome rant, and you can follow Angriest Librarian on Twitter, and she's freaking hysterical.
Here's a ranch for sale in Arizona.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a lovely place. Mm-hmm. Let me see what the details are, shall I?
I think you should.
Oh my gosh, it's got everything you're looking for. It's got 3 bedrooms. It's got it's like 2,700 square feet of living
nice.
space.
Okay, sure.
So that sounds really good, and a ton of land that goes with it, and also a ton of aliens.
What do you mean? There's a ton of
It's called
aliens?
the Alien Ranch, aka it's the Stardust Ranch.
Stardust. Yeah, alien doesn't sound as inspiring as Stardust, but let's keep going.
They tried to abduct his wife. They picked her out of the bed, levitated her, and then took her outside, and then tried to beam her up to their spaceship.
What happened?
They didn't. She stayed here.
Is she still levitating?
No, I don't think so. But they want $5 million for the ranch.
Boy, they're really banking on that alien thing, huh?
Yeah, because actually it was on the Discovery Channel. It was featured on Ghost Adventures, which is, by the way, if you have a TV show and
it's adorable.
Everywhere you go, there are ghosts.
And every segment ends with, oh, what's that? And then it goes to commercial. And
then they come back and like, it's my hand.
Oh, that was just Steve from the catering department. He dropped a dish.
That the only other thing sadder is the people going out looking for Bigfoot. And they use the money their family needs for living to buy new equipment so they can find Sasquatch. And they actually have a nickname. They call him Squatch. and they go
Well,
up.
they know him personally, so you get to go shorter on the name.
And they make statements like this. They're like, well, everybody knows that they like Twinkies, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put. And you're like, what? Back up. They what? Jolly Ranchers. They like that for dessert. And so what we're gonna? Excuse me. What? Back up. They like Jolly Ranchers, and they're just like common knowledge.
Well, yeah,
Common
everybody knows that.
knowledge. They like goats in a bad way. I don't know. Back up. Never mind. Yeah, so if you want the Alien Ranch, they've had animals missing too. I'm thinking bad fencing.
Coyotes.
Coyotes.
Yeah.
Alien coyotes.
Now we see why it's worth $5 million.
Very, very scary. So anyway,
That's nice.
I am still really excited at the end of the show for the
It
thing
really
you're
is.
going to show them. Great video.
No, it's super creepy. You'll actually, the history behind it. I actually did a lot of research because I was like, this is like horrible.
The devil.
But there's a thing. That really was not the most exciting.
And that's
news
still
I've ever
coming up.
given
And
you.
plus,
Coming up next, people who are
going to hell. That's coming up next.
The Todd and Erin morning stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Did you know that you can qualify for a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600? Just go to fink-mcgregor.com for more information. It's mortgages made simple. Also by the Vein Clinic. There's several excellent varicose vein removal procedures, but you need to find the right one for you. You can do that by scheduling an appointment at theveinclinic.com. And also by Black Diamond Heating, Electric, Plumbing, and Air. Black Diamond Experts. They also have a brand new office open in Ogden. You'll be glad you called an expert. BlackDiamondExpert.com.
Apply today.
And drive away.
It looks nice, right? The morning cam brought to you by Utah Credit Approval.
The one cool thing, and I don't know if you can see it very well, is the golf courses that we use over the morning mountain cam always has like this eerie mist rising up this time of day.
That's very cool.
And it's actually really cool to watch.
All right, so people are going to go to hell, and I want to know who.
Especially this lady. A woman has been arrested,
Arrested.
Sky Lynn Larson,
Sky, what's going on?
Salt Lake City, facing a felony burglary charge.
You dirty, rotten scoundrel.
Now, she actually broke into the garage of the home
Nice.
and she found a pile of stuff and she went, this looks good. Like, I could get like a lot of money for this stuff, selling it, and then I could get more drugs. And I think when you see her
You'll
her
know.
mugshot, you'll pretty much be in
There you
agreement
go.
with me
Yeah,
on that.
might look like
It's
a little meth going there.
Probably, going back for that.
What'd she steal?
The reporting party said that her daughter's backpack had been stolen.
Oh, boy.
It had a lot of very expensive medication in it because the child has special needs and is quite physically fragile.
Right.
And she also stole her leg braces. Her leg braces that she uses to walk. So once again, Skylyn Larson of Salt Lake City,
Sky.
you stole a child's leg braces that they used to walk. Now, they caught her because she went into a medical supply store attempting to get a refund.
Oh, I see.
the leg
Return
braces.
The leg braces.
And they went, okay, number one, that's not from here. Number two, these are custom. And number three, you had to have stolen them, so we're calling the police.
Number 4, the cops are standing behind you.
It wasn't a real hard catch, but you stole leg braces from a child with special needs.
You are going to hell.
So
I'm sorry.
going to hell.
Oh, Sky. It's not that we're angry. We're just disappointed.
No, I'm actually kind of pissed off.
I am too.
I got to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Information time.
Okay, let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Mortgage is made simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's like a 4-minute quiz. If you go through it, at the end it gives you all these mortgage options, and somebody will call you back within the next business day. Also, by To Liberate a Man, you can rid yourself of adult addiction with a brand new program that's amazing. You can go to liberateaman.com for more information. Also by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. This is the perfect time to make sure that your furnace is tuned up for fall and that all of your outside sprinkler stuff is turned off and ready to go. Go to blackdiamondexpert.com. They have a new place in Ogden now as well. Daisy, what is going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Hello again, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news Friday, October 27th on GepHardtDaily.com. Those secret government files on the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy have finally been released, but experts say those looking for proof of a conspiracy will likely be disappointed. A couple of alluring tidbits have surfaced, however, including details for a CIA mob plot to whack Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. We also learned that the FBI got a death threat against assassin Lee Harvey Oswald the day before he was killed. And there's also a CIA memo saying Oswald made contact with a KGB officer a few months before the assassination. While 2,800 documents were released, Donald Trump blocked the release of about 300 files at the request of US spy agencies. There's new information on the attack in Niger that left 4 US soldiers dead earlier this month. The Pentagon now says the US convoy that was ambushed by ISIS became separated during the ensuing firefight. This may explain why one of the US casualties became separated from the rest of the team during the attack. Investigators say US and Nigerian troops showed extreme bravery during the ambush, fighting off their ISIS attackers while standing back to back. And the US Navy is reporting 2 American women who were lost at sea for 5 months along with their dogs have been rescued. The Honolulu residents set sail from Hawaii to Tahiti with their 2 dogs back in May, but their plans to complete the 2,600-mile journey hit a snag when they had engine trouble. The 2 mariners believed they would be able to complete their journey by sailing the rest of the way, but then bad weather put them off course. Calls for help went unanswered, and the pair remained stranded at sea until Tuesday, when they were discovered 900 miles southeast of Japan by a Taiwanese fishing vessel. The women say they and their crew survived the 5 months at sea with water purifiers and having a year's worth of food on board. Not exactly a Tom Hanks movie, but pretty intense nonetheless. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GetPartDaily.com. And for now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy. This is so strange because
Okay, wait, really quickly, Black Diamond experts.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. And I was talking about them earlier. One of the reasons I really like these guys is they're licensed and bonded and insured. These are all big deals to me, and I sometimes wonder if people are as sensitive as I am. But if I'm going to let someone in my house where my kids are, and I want to know that they're those things. I want to know I can trust them. And so they come in, they put on their booties, they check stuff out. Basically, unless it's like a hole in your plaster, there's nothing these guys can't fix. And once again, electric, plumbing, heating, and air. So they're great for emergencies. 24 hours a day, they're there. And believe me, I've seen the trucks out 24 hours a day, so I happen to know that's really actually true. And every one of them has a great story about ending up on Thanksgiving waist deep in sewage in someone's basement, or Christmas Eve is spent, trying to restore people's pipes and fix their water. So they're there, but it's pretty easy to find them. They have a new place in Ogden too, so it's even easier for you in Weber County now. You can just go to blackdiamondexpert.com. You can reach them there. They will come. They will fix everything. Everyone is happy, and life is good. Black Diamond Expert.
Here's something you don't need.
We'll talk about that in the next break, but first I have to
gosh.
do a cautionary tale, okay?
All right, go ahead.
All right. Let's go through a few protocols for personal safety.
Can I be that person?
I wish you would.
All right. Protocol me.
You read something on Craigslist,
Craigslist.
and it says,
I'm looking at my computer.
wanted female participants
Wanted female participants.
for medical devices that are specific
Medical devices.
to women's intimate health care.
Oh, I see the thing right now.
So you're going, oh.
I
And
think
it
I'll
says-
participate.
It says study participants receive $50.
Okay.
You're thinking, oh.
Bingo.
So,
Christmas around the corner. Need some extra cash.
Let's
You
begin-
have the equipment.
and then you go into an office that doesn't really look like
Hey.
a doctor's office.
What's the garage all about?
You go into a back room where you're told to disrobe,
Okay.
and then items are utilized.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
That's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
So then you come out of there and you realize this doesn't seem right, and
Right.
that this guy took a lot of pictures, and
Right.
and you suddenly realize that you probably have just totally been had by this
Exposed
terrible
yourself
person.
to- right.
Yeah, and so you go to the police. Okay, before any of those steps happen, the first thing is no one uses Craigslist from a reputable research organization
This is true.
ever. Okay. Number two, Todd and I have done a lot of work with medical research places, and there's very specific protocols, none
Yes.
of which were followed here. And number two, nobody just offers you like $50 for dropping by and letting them
Right.
things. Nobody does that. So here's the horrible thing. There's at least 4 women who have done this so far, and this was this creepy scumbag down in Provo, Borson Madigan. He was arrested.
There he is.
He's owner of a Provo restaurant.
Boris.
So he has Bortson, and he has nothing to do
Bortson.
with being a doctor. He is not a doctor, and now there's at least 4 or 5 women that we know of who have been. Anyway, I'm not even going to read the charges because they're really
it's gross.
But
Not gross.
Please,
but
just-
you know what I mean.
we love you so much, but just go through it.
Ask a
And
friend.
Think
Does
about
this-
it first.
Does this sound normal?
I mean, you know what?
Like that.
You can always call the Better Business Bureau or the licensing board to make sure that they're covered. But
They're
if you-
licensed.
if you ever walk into something like that, you can just get up and walk out right away, because that was really, they would just put themselves in his hands. It was awful.
All right.
So anyway, the police are basically saying, would you please talk about this, because this is what we're seeing happening, and people seem to think that if they see an ad for it, then it's probably right.
Right.
And
Okay.
it's like, no, it's not.
All right.
And Borton, you're a horrible person, and you are also going to hell. So that's 2 people today.
Wow.
2 people who are going to hell.
Wow, it's getting crowded down.
All right, now coming up next.
Now coming up next, the item everyone needs for Christmas. It's coming up next.
Really? The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink and McGregor. Go to fink-mcgregor.com for mortgages made simple. Because they're a broker, they have a number of different options they can offer you. Just go through a 4-minute questionnaire, and someone will call you back by the next business day and get you on your way. It's fink-mcgregor.com. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Utah Credit Approval knows that there's sometimes the bad things happen to good people and that credit may be hard to repair. But you can apply today and drive away today with Utah Credit Approval. Just call 801-404-7201. And also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Go to allutahplumbing.com to schedule a check to make sure that you're ready for winter. And don't forget, they have 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com.
I'm going to start my Christmas list as we speak.
Really? Now tell me about this exciting thing.
Well, what can't you attach Bluetooth to your phone? I mean, you think about it. You can do anything.
Bluetooth is epic.
We can control cameras with our phones. We can do that, and we can do. I mean, there's
Remember
nothing.
our awesome boombox is like about this big,
Right.
and you can operate it with your Bluetooth, and
Playing music.
it's like concert level sound.
And that's so old school now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because now they have figured out how to actually connect a fork to your phone.
Why would
The happy fork.
Oh, it's many lovely colors. Why do we want to
Yes.
connect
Because
Bluetooth to our fork?
It will make your life better.
Explain how.
Well, there's the Fit watches, right? The
Yeah,
Fitbit.
sure.
Those are okay.
Oh, just
But
okay. All right.
really, when it comes down to it, it's about caloric intake, isn't it? Sometimes.
Sure.
So what you need is a fork that will remind you to eat slower, which is, some people believe, is if you eat so fast, you don't know if you're full yet, but if you eat slower, you're going to feel the fullness before you keep eating more.
I need a fork for that, huh?
The fork for that, and what'll happen is it vibrates and beeps if you're eating more than once every 10 seconds. So if you go, oh, carrot, oh, another carrot, it should shock you. It should shock you. But this is a new trend. It's only $60.
Okay, well,
And this is a new trend because if you remember yesterday, we talked about a fork.
wait a minute. This fork, the happy fork,
Yeah.
it also shames you.
Yeah.
It vibrates, and then it does a message that says, slow down, you cow, and save some food for the rest of us. So
Yeah.
it basically
can
shames you.
You can program it to do that if you want.
It shames you into eating less?
Mm.
That seems really hostile.
You should see what the Bluetooth to your refrigerator says.
You know, if I want to be insulted, I can call my dad. I'm not going to pay $60 for it. I love my father, but he just hasn't filtered.
There is a trend, and I see this coming for the holidays, because yesterday there was another magnificent device.
Oh yeah, Daisy talked about this.
Brought to you by, and it was the and basically, if you're a person who slurps your noodles, number one, you don't use a fork to eat noodles. Okay, you eat your chopsticks. That's what you
Our
you're-
niece Stephanie says, fork that.
So if you remember yesterday, this was one. So if it senses, it's got a microphone. If it senses that you're slurping your noodles, it will produce a sound that will cancel out the slurping and just annoy people. Once again, another fabulous fork product waiting for you and the person you want to buy a gift for.
You know, people must have more money than I do.
Right? People have less brains than I do, and
Because if-
that's really hard for me to say.
Because if,
That's like out there.
I'm sorry, but just telling me I've got a fork that's going to insult you and it's going to cost you $60. It's
Guess where I'm going to stick that fork?
now that would be worth the money.
And then
That
it-
would be worth it.
And then it vibrates.
Yeah,
Hey!
maybe not. I don't think so.
I just watched not Baggins. What was the golf movie I just watched?
Legend of
Yeah.
Bagger Vance.
I always want Bilbo Baggins, but I just watched that and the historic game of
Will
golf.
Smith, Robert Redford, very cool.
It was very good. Not Robert. It was.
Isn't it Robert Redford?
I don't know. So anyway,
is.
now you got me thinking about who it is.
Just go on. What were you about to say about the Legend of Bagger Vance and golf?
I can't go on. I can see the guy. He was one of the. Is he one of the grumpiest men on Grumpy Old Men? He really was. What's his name?
I know
He's
him,
one of the
right?
classic actors. He was back in the 40s even. In the 50s, and basically he passes out on the golf course, and at the end, after the whole movie, he walks on, and Will Smith calls him over because he's passed away, and he walks across the fairway. It's a very touching movie. What's his name? It's not Robert Redford. It's the other guy.
Oh, it's Matt Damon. It was directed
By-
by Robert Redford, but it was Matt Damon, who was also not famous in the 40s.
Who's the
or
other
50s.
person in it, though?
Oh, I
Never
don't know. I
mind.
just dumped it now.
He's the old guy that I was thinking about.
Oh, whatever.
Where were we going with this?
I'm not sure, and that's why I'm...
Oh, you were going to tell us about the golf tournament.
Oh, that was the most confusing lead-in I've ever heard, but okay, let's go
Ta-da.
with it. Okay, this is like the stupidest thing ever. Lunenburg High School student Emily Nash,
Where is this?
this is in Massachusetts.
Okay.
She plays, it's the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association.
Well, say that again.
Now, the only
Say that again.
golf team at her school is the boys' golf team.
Right.
Well, at golf club, and she's fabulous at golf. She said, I would like to play. They said, make this level. She easily made the level and above. They went, okay, you're on the team.
Boom.
So she's in the golf tournament with the rest of them.
Co-ed golf.
And she was heart-stopping. She got 75 at the golf tournament. And it was amazing. So they're like, okay, first place, take the trophy. And then they said, no, not so fast.
Why?
Not so fast, not so fast.
Why?
They said, this is the boys' fall individual tournament, and you're a girl.
What's that mean?
And she said, well, okay, but I'm on the team, and it's only boys, but this is the only team we have. They went, we don't care. It's the boys' fall tournament.
Which means-
you are not a boy. You cannot have the trophy.
Wow.
They actually disqualified her for being a girl. And
Right.
to this I say, well, you knew she was a girl going into the tournament.
Maybe just they didn't think she was going to win.
So it seems like if you'd had a problem, you sexist swine bag, you would have addressed it then.
You would think.
Girl, no trophy. Really? Girl, no trophy.
I don't know what to say. Except for Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. Uxbridge.
Yes, Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association.
Say it really fast.
Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association.
That's awesome. Let's sing their song.
Okay. Talk about the Halloween masks, because these are freaking amazing.
Can't decide what to go as. Can you? You having trouble? Because there is a lot of different ways you can do
Sideways
this.
and down.
Now you can just sit back. You can sit back and just wait. Go to your printer and wait for your mask to show up.
Now, 3D printers have been amazing. I mean, they've had medical applications where doctors have been able to go through a person's body first to practice for like a really intense and complex surgery. They've been able to create prosthetics. They've actually worked on recreating certain organs using
Now,
3D technology.
When they first came out, I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Like, how is a printer going to do this? And basically, you can use like any substance to. There's a house.
So freaking cool.
They watch these cool houses being built by
Oh, the 3D house.
gigantic one, and the thing like put out like
Concrete
concrete
pours
like toothpaste, and just kept going around, and 3D
It was
printer
amazing.
built a house, which is cool. In this case, they're coming in to help you for Halloween. Take a look at this. How cool is that?
I want one.
Everyone wants one.
Halloween masks, 3D Halloween masks, and they're amazing. If you take a look at the
Here's another. How fun is that?
that is the coolest thing ever.
It is. 3D, man.
That's mine.
Whoa.
That's the one I want.
That is cool.
And I've seen ones that are like eerie, that are like King Arthur-esque. There was one that was like a steel-looking helmet that looked like it was Norwegian. I mean,
Right.
they were just incredible designs.
Very cool. All right, so Erin's been so busy this week, and it's so funny. I go, where are you going? She goes to a creepy place. And I said, stay out of my room.
Yeah,
My
never asked
garage.
if I'm okay or anything. Just,
Right.
"Oh, yeah,
And she'll run off and she'll go for a walk or whatever. And she comes back. She goes, I got something to show you tomorrow. Because Erin is doing a special all week long, special feature on the Todd and Erin morning stream, where she's showing creepy things.
It's brought to you by Brio Technologies. If you go to brioaudiovisual.com, you can find some outstanding things in terms of lighting and sound, and they can install it for you and put it all together. It's amazing.
So, tell us, set this up. Because, first of all, we're Todd and Erin in the morning stream, GepHartDaily.com. So we're going to leave you with this, but give them a little setup on it.
Okay, it took me a little bit of a while to find this, and I actually had to use my Pokemon Go to find it.
Why? How'd you, what?
It was actually a Pokestop.
This
thing.
exact location.
And so I had to walk up and down a while to find it. And the longer I walked, the more I felt like somebody was watching me, and I started getting really anxious.
where
And I'm
you
like,
were
I just have to
walking.
get this thing over with.
Where were you
I was in
walking?
the Salt Lake City Cemetery, and there is a certain tombstone there that is really terrifying. And one of the things about it that's so strange, and I wish you could have caught this on the video, is right as I turned it off, these two huge flock of birds shot up from behind me, and I screamed like a Nelly. I mean, it was just dropped my phone, it was really intense, but
right.
it feels creepy. I mean, just even standing there feels really spooky.
All right, so here is Erin's.
Spookiest spot along the Wasatch Front for Friday.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go in our series of the spookiest spots along the Wasatch Front. This is the Salt Lake City Cemetery, absolutely beautiful, and one of the oldest burial sites in the state. But there's one grave that everybody wants to visit, and it's this one. Lily E. Gray, victim of the beast 666. Now, this has been quite a conundrum for a long time because people couldn't figure out why anyone would bury somebody with such a dreadful inscription. Now, her husband Elmer was said to be a little bit nuts, but he ended up in prison, and when he appealed to the parole board, he had a lot of complaints about his wife being kidnapped by the beast. And no one ever quite understood what that meant, but whatever the cause, when Lily passed away, he insisted this be part of her inscription against the protests of the rest of the family. So, what really happened to Lily? Nobody's sure. On the bright side, I barely found it because it's also listed as one of my Pokestops on Pokemon Go. So, thank you, Lily, and rest in peace.